Welcome into Opposing Viewpoints Cowboys edition. I'm Tatum Everett, and what a weekend it's about to be at US Bank Stadium when the Vikings hold their first primetime game of the season when they host the Cowboys. And now let's welcome in a fully well-rested Eric Smith. It's a week off the bye. Do you think this came at a right time for this team?
I do. I think well-rested is a good term to use. The Vikings injury report isn't that bad this week. And the Vikings kind of needed a week to catch their breath, especially with all the crazy games that have gone on the first 6 weeks of the season. 5 of them have been by 7 points or less, back and forth. I know the fan probably needed a break too, a lot of drama. So yeah, the bye came at a good time, but hey, we're back, we're ready to go, and we're ready for prime time.
Yeah, I feel fully recovered. My heart's not pumping anymore constantly. I love what you said about the drama though. But here to bring the drama for the Dallas Cowboys is DallasCowboys.com staff writer David Helman. Thanks for being here today, David. We can't wait to see you guys on Sunday, fresh off a bye yourselves.
Yeah, I think it's been a little chiller around here, although the Cowboys went to overtime the last time they played a game, so what am I talking about? It's funny, everybody says the bye week comes at the perfect time, but I bet the Cowboys would like to have a little more time to see what's going on with Dak Prescott's calf before this game kicks off.
Yeah, that's obviously a big storyline, and we'll probably get into that. That's probably the biggest storyline probably of the week. But for the Vikings, like I said, they probably needed a bye just to kind of catch their breath a little bit, but also to kind of step back and maybe look at the big picture as the final 11 games get ready to take off. And as we sit here heading into Week 8, the Vikings are actually in a playoff spot. You probably would not have said that after Week 2 or 3 when they had a losing record, but they have climbed back to 500. As of right now, they would be the number 7 seed in the NFC. And now's the time to make hay. Everyone knows the next 4 games are very tough, including Sunday against Dallas. So everything's right there in front of the Vikings, and it's time to go.
As you guys have alluded to, it's the most talked about calf in the entire country. Dak Prescott tweaking his calf muscle in the last game, really the last seconds of the last game before this bye week. And David, I know he spoke to the media earlier today. So what's the latest on Dak's status for Sunday?
Yeah, I think Dak kind of changed the narrative of this thing. I think a lot of people were wondering, can he play? And Dak Prescott made it pretty clear, I can play. This is simply going to be a matter of basically, should I play? You think back to the shoulder injury he was dealing with during training camp. It's not that it was a terrible injury. It's just that the Cowboys wanted to get him to rest, get it to not be a lingering issue. Dak said the same thing about this calf. If this was a playoff game, he could play. But it's not. It's Week 8. There's 11 games left to play. Do you want this to be bothering him week after week, something that you're continually worried about? Or maybe does he sit out of this game, take another week to rest and get right, and not have it bothering him down the home stretch of the season? We don't know the answer to that right now. I think it's going to go all the way to the weekend, but it is interesting to think. Like I said, he can play. I think now the Cowboys just have to gauge, is it worth the risk to put him into this game with so much of the season still to go?
Well, as we hold our breath, David, and wait to see if Dak will play, we know from the Vikings side that Patrick Peterson will not play. He was injured in Week 6 as well. He injured his hamstring, and he was placed on injured reserve. So he is out for the next 3 games. The earliest he can come back is against Green Bay. And it's not a good time for that because obviously with Dak Prescott potentially playing Sunday and the array of wide receivers the Cowboys have, the Vikings are kind of thin now at cornerback. They have obviously Bashaud Breeland as the starter on one side, and Cameron Dantzler, the second-year guy, is going to step in and start on the other side, obviously with Mackenzie Alexander in the slot. So the Vikings are a little short-handed right there. They still have Harrison Hand, who is off the COVID list. He's been on that for the last 2 weeks, so he's excited to return. So yeah, definitely watch the Vikings cornerbacks in this game. They're going to be tested a lot, and with no Peterson, all eyes are going to be on them.
Well, no doubt the Vikings defense has their eyes on Trevon Diggs, and this Cowboys defense, we all know the Diggs name from former wide receiver Stephon Diggs, who was here for so long. And now his little brother leads the league in interceptions with 7. This Cowboys defense seems to be very opportunistic, David.
It's weird to say, guys, because that hasn't been the story here in Dallas in a long time. This was a team that was routinely finishing with 10, 12 takeaways a year. They've already topped that, and we're not even officially at the halfway point of the season. They've had multiple takeaways in every game this year. And obviously Trayvon Diggs is a huge part of that. He leads the league. I mean, I don't think it's a stretch to say that he's got a shot at the record. Obviously, he would have to keep this going, but it's hard to bet against the guy when he's got 7 in just 6 games. This is not the soundest or the stingiest defense in the NFL by any stretch, but it's amazing what you can accomplish when you're taking the ball away 2, 3, sometimes even 4 times per game. And Trayvon Diggs is the poster boy for that right now.
Well, the Vikings are definitely aware of that, David. I can tell you from every press conference this week, the Vikings have harped on turnovers and keeping the ball, keeping possession of the ball. And Mike Zimmer has harped on this for weeks. In the Carolina game, the Vikings had 4 fumbles. They luckily only lost 1 of them. And as we went into the bye, Coach Zimmer said, he's like, I'm going to have something for them coming out of the bye. And sure enough, at Wednesday's practice and again today on Thursday, the Vikings open practice with like a ball control drill where players are kind of stumbling around and other players are trying to punch the ball out. So turnovers are going to be the story of this game. Can Dallas continue to take the ball away like they have? And can the Vikings hold on to the ball? Because if they do, and they keep possession of the ball, that obviously bodes well for the offense and keeps the high-flying Cowboys on the sideline. So certainly turnovers are big in every game, but when you have an opportunistic defense like the Cowboys and a team like the Vikings that thrive on keeping possession of the ball, it's definitely a storyline to watch.
Well, here on Opposing Viewpoints, Thursday is a special day. We call it Hot Take Thursday. So, David, I'm going to put you on the spot. Let's get your hottest take for this Vikings-Cowboys matchup.
I mean, we just set this one up perfectly, but I'm a big believer in the law of averages, right? I mean, the Cowboys have really been on a hot streak going back further than this year. They've had multiple takeaways in every game this year, but even going back to week 9 of last year, they've been on an incredible roll of taking the ball away. If you think they got that upset win in Minneapolis last year in big reason because they were able to force takeaways, force the fumble of Dalvin Cook, force the fumble of Kirk Cousins. My hot take is that it's got to run out at some point, right? And eventually, you got to stop getting so many takeaways. They haven't had a game without one. Can't help but notice that Kirk Cousins is doing a great job of keeping the ball this year. He's only got 2 interceptions on the season. Dalvin Cook is a great veteran running back. At home, with a crowd that's going to make life difficult on the Cowboys and make life easy for the Vikings, I'm not going to be surprised if the streak breaks this week and the Cowboys don't manage to get a takeaway. Like I said, the luck's got to run out at some point, right?
Yeah, I'm sure that's music to Vikings fans' ears right now, David, even though, the hot take might be a little better for us than for you guys. But, Eric, let's hear your hot take for this Vikings-Cowboys game.
All right, I'm going to give some love to the special teams. And the Vikings, my hot take, the Vikings are going to have a kickoff return of 50-plus yards. Maybe that's a return for a touchdown. I don't know. But I think a big return is on the way. One thing to note is that Amir Abdullah, who you see here in the highlight, is not on the team anymore. He is now with Carolina. So the Vikings will turn to either one of 2 rookies to return kicks on Sunday. That's either Kene Wangu or fellow rookie Amir Smith-Marset. Kene Wangu was the kick returner in training camp, but 3 plays into the first preseason game, he hurt his knee. So he has not been seen from in over 2 months. He is probably the fastest, if not one of the fastest players on the Vikings, and was a pretty good kick returner at Iowa State. He was a 4th-round pick in this year's past draft. So if Kene gets thrown in there, I think players and coaches have been waiting to see his speed in action in a regular season game. So if he can get in there, I think he can break one loose. I'm not saying he's going to break one for a score, but I think a 50-plus yard return is going to happen Sunday night.
Well, guys, we all know this is a Halloween nighttime matchup. It may get a little eerie out there. So I'm going to have you do your best fortune teller impression for this game. David, the Cowboys win if?
This is really next level analysis that they pay me the big bucks here, but I think it comes down to obviously whether Dak Prescott plays, but also how healthy he is. Is he healthy enough to truly command this offense, scramble, make plays with his legs, make plays on the run, which is his calling card? Because if he is, I think he's the best single player in this game. I think he's one of the top 5 or 6 quarterbacks in the league. He is playing like it right now, and his presence unlocks so much. It's not just what he can make in the air against that Vikings secondary, but the respect that he commands open things up for the Dallas run game as well. The Cowboys on the ground have averaged 200 yards per game at times this season. They had a 3-game stretch where they were averaging 201 yards on the ground. That's as much about Dak as it is about anything, because opposing defenses are so afraid of what can happen through the air if they don't respect it. So if Dak's healthy enough to be Dak Prescott, I absolutely think the Cowboys can go in and win this game. If it's Cooper Rush, or even if Dak is limited, I think the Vikings have the horses up front to get a win.
All right, Eric, it's now time for you to make your money on this side of things. The Vikings win if.
All right, the Vikings will win if they can keep pace with the Cowboys offense. And, there's no accolades, it seems like, that Dallas doesn't have. They have the #1 offense in yards and points. They're really good on first down. That's something to keep an eye on, too, is first down. But I think the Vikings will need to keep pace in order to keep up on the scoreboard. But in saying that, they don't need to score 40 points. And when I say keep pace, they need to keep pace in their own way. The Vikings don't have to score in 90 seconds. If they have a 7 or 8 minute long drive, that's just as good as a 1-minute drive, and probably even better because it keeps the explosive Cowboys offense off the field. So run the ball, rely on Dalvin Cook, make some plays through the air with Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen, and score points. Obviously, the Vikings are going to have to score points to win, but if they can score 30 instead of 40, I think that's a better formula. So they have to keep pace, but if they do it in their own way, I think the Vikings are going to win, go above 500, and start the second half of the season off on a strong note.
Well, guys, I have been personally looking forward to this one since I saw the schedule released. I had this one circled. Halloween night, NBC Sunday Night Football primetime contest with the Cowboys. It's going to get weird. I just have a feeling. Thank you so much to Dallas Cowboys staff writer David Helman. For Vikings team reporter Eric Smith, I'm Tatum Everett, and this is Opposing Viewpoints.